Hello, everyone, and this is going to be a very interesting session for sure today, right? So let's start with it, which is basically a Udemy clone, right? So we all use Udemy for uh, small courses that we want to take, right? So obviously that is a platform wherein we can keep our learning, that is whatever we want to learn, so we purchase the courses. There are certain free courses also available, and based on those courses we basically uh, do the courses, get the certifications, etc. things. So that particular clone we are going to develop today. Hello. And that particular clone we are going to develop today, and you people are going to use it in future if you are thinking something big, such as if you want to create your own channel of something, some that sort. So you can use it there as well. So a very first step we are going to take towards it, and we are going to use only simple HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, right, for creating the front end, because this is our kind of a first session in the series of for creating the project. So that's why we have to start from a very simple place, and from there I'm coming. That is, from the very basics, we're going to strongly develop our projects, and then later on we'll use different types of frameworks and libraries, right? So let's just start with today's session, which will be very important, very interesting, and very informative for everybody here, right? So this is basically Udemy clone. So let us come to this. What does this Udemy interface looks like, right? So this is your, landing page. That is, whenever you search for Udemy, you land on this particular page first of all. If you are not already logged in into the system or signed up into the system, and once you're logged in into the system, then you can buy some courses. But if you're not logged in into the system, then also you can at least see the courses, right? That these all courses are like right now they are going on in the chat GPT section. Then there is a data science section also, right? So whichever is selected is in dark color, and which other options are in light color that are available, right? Then you can go ahead also and search for different other options as well. So if you start from the very starting, so suppose let us take this particular page which we have to develop today, right? So we have to develop this particular landing page today, and later on, the same components we will be using in different components or different web pages of this website. So a very interesting website is there. Various functionalities are also there. But today our task is very simple, which is to design this particular landing page. So first of all, in this landing page, you can see that there is a kind of a notification that is coming, right? And which you can, eliminate also. Afterwards, you can see that there is a header section. In the header section, there are plans and pricing. So different navigation links are there. Then there is a carousel. Then afterwards, we have this particular section wherein we are given with certain courses, and whatever courses we are selecting underneath, its subcategories will appear. So there is a main category of the courses. For example, web development is there. Then different sections are there. Communication is there. Business analytics and intelligence is there. And within that particular section also, there are certain subsections such as web development, JavaScript, React.js. These are the subsections of web development. So this is what's happening right here. And afterwards, what are the current courses that are going on in this category? For example, in web development category, what are the courses that are going on at the moment, and what are the prices, what are the whatever, right? Different kind of things are there, and afterwards you have certain companies which are associated with Udemy, and there then what learners are viewing at the moment mostly. So you can see that all of these courses are like one of the most viewed courses, right? They are being purchased in lakhs and lakhs, right? Afterwards, we have certain other points as well. So, for example, what are the main features of this website? So, that is also given here, right? Apart from that, there is some sort of, kind of a, this is basically an image which is showing that how this is working and how you can use it. So it is just like a snapshot of what is there inside, right? Some different features, and then obviously testimonials, wherein what other learners are saying about the website that we have shown or displayed, right? So apart from that, then obviously some advertisement is going on, and then what is trending now. So these are different sections, and then there comes this footer section, which you can see. So in the footer section, we have links to different courses also, and links to different pages as well, right? And this copyright thing is also written at the end. So this is what we are going to design for today, right? The very first page, which is basically your landing page. So let's just start with it. Very simple thing, but of course, something that will lead to a very good result afterwards, right? So that's why we need to start with it right here and right away. So let's just start with it. So first of all, we will be setting up our project environment. So project environment that we need right now is very simple. That is we just need one editor wherein we can write our HTML code, our CSS code, right? So just an editor is required at the moment, right? So let's create a new folder and let's call it as Udemy Clone. So right now we are not going into so much technicality of the of this project, because we are just trying to design a landing page for Udemy, right? The more the more coverage on the technicality of the course will be done when we will be designing the backend part of the course, right? That time we will learn in much deeper perspective that what we are actually doing in the course in this particular project. So let's start with the simple phase of the project, which is starting designing the landing page. So the landing page already has been designed very beautifully. Who have who Whoever has designed the page, right? So basically your UI UX designer designs the pages, and then our task as a developer is to just design the basically to see and to look at the figmas or the designs, and then to develop a particular page in the same manner, right? So let us start with it. So let us name our page as index.html, and then obviously we will need one style page also. So style.css, and later on we will require JS as well, but we'll do that portion in the later segment. So let's just start with a very simple HTML code first, right? And here on we will keep on seeing that are we getting the results as well, right? So let's first of all open this particular page with a live server. So we are starting our server right here, and we are looking at our index.html page as well. And we'll keep it right here so that we can see every time whatever we are doing. So right now our page is absolutely empty. Now the first thing it is saying is that please design this header part, right? So let's design this header. So right now we are going to start with the header part, and obviously we are going to do one more thing, that is word wrap. So word wrap, right? And let us design this particular portion first of all. So header is there. So first of all we will be using our header portion, And then obviously there are certain navigation links thereon. So let us do that. So there is a UL, that is unordered list, and inside that we are keeping some sort of list items that we need, which are plans and pricing, Udemy business and tech on Udemy, right? So let's copy paste it if we can. So plans and pricing, plans and pricing. Then the second element that we are going to use is, all right, plans and pricing is the first option. Afterwards, we will go for Udemy business, and then the third option is tech on Udemy, right? Then there is one cart option for which right now I just want to keep this cart in writing. Later on, I'll put a cart emoticon also. Afterwards, there is a button. So next LI is a button which is looking something of this sort. So a button is there in which we have written login, and then there is a sign up button as well. So let's have it in the LI portion only. So this is sign up. So either you can keep it in the LI portion, or otherwise you can create a different div for it as well. So creating a different div would be much better option. So here we are saying that we are having two buttons. The first button is login button. So login, and the second button is sign up button. So this is our second button, sign up button, right? And then there is one more button which is basically showing a picture of globe, right? So it is, I think, related to something languages. So this is all about this particular section. And apart from it, we also have, I think, a search bar. So let's create a search bar which is before the UL, of course. So one input tag I'm going to create, in which we want to have a placeholder in which what we are writing is search for anything. So this particular text we want to show here. So let's do that. So search for anything, search for anything. And if you could notice this, then there is one uh, emoji or one icon which is of this search tool, right? So we are going to keep one image as well here, and this we want to wrap inside a div, because div means that you want to group some things together. So according to the styles that you're giving, you want to group your items together. So for that you keep the divs, right? So we are keeping this image and input in one div because we have to group them together. Then afterwards, you can see that these three items, plans and pricing, Udemy business, and tech on Udemy, these three items we are keeping together. And then the later on, these four items, that is a cart we have kept with these items, and then login button, sign up button, and this language button, right? These three things we are keeping together because we think that they may be having the same type of a style. We can sense that, so that's why we are keeping them together. And afterwards there is a logo of Udemy and there is a explore button. So let's have them also in different portions. So first of all, one div I'm creating, this is for the image which is having the logo of Udemy, and then another portion is there in which I am writing explore, and let's have this explore in a div as well. So the reason that I'm creating a different div for Explore is just because of the functionality, nothing different, right? So Shah Rukh Khan is the best. Who is Shah Rukh Khan? How come Shah Rukh Khan has come here? So let us see. So image, and basically we have generated this thing. So now let us have a class here, and let's give some styling to our page, and let's start with that. So this is our header container, so we'll name it in that way only, that this is our header container. Let us see that how can we style it. So first of all, if you will see these items right now, so you know that this div is also a block element, this div is also a block element, then ul is also a block element. So all the block elements takes up the block and then are displayed in columns, right? So if we are here and we will see the content, so obviously these items are going to come in the columns. Now we don't want to display them in the column, so what we are going to do is, inside the header container we are going to say that display in row. We want to display all these items in the row manner, in the row, basically in a single row. So how can we do that? So the simple thing would be to have a display property set to flex. So as soon as you write something like this, that display flex, what happens is that all the child element of the header container will be displayed within a single row. So that's what we are trying to do, right? That all these divs, all the direct children of this header container should be displayed in a single row. That's what we need. So let's attach this particular file to this HTML. How do we attach a CSS file? So basically we have this link tag, and inside the link tag we are going to have this relationship of a style sheet, right? And then we are going to say that href is equals to dot slash style dot css. So that's how we attach a style sheet with our items. So now you can see that all the items that were before appearing in the column wise direction, now they have come in a row wise direction. Alright, so one of the task is completed. Now we obviously want to give the kind of font which is here, right? So let's start with that. So suppose let's start with this ul, right? Let's give it a name as well, which is, we want to style it in a way. So we want to say that okay, there's a ul inside header container and we want to style it, right? So there is a header container, and inside this header container there is a thing called as ul, and we don't want to give it that dots and all, right? So we are saying that the list style, which is right now containing the circles or the dots, we want to give it a none value. And then the next thing which we want to say is that display type of this should also be flex, so that all the items of the list should also be displayed in the row wise manner. And the margin, that is initially some margin is given, so that we want to make as 0 pixels, and we'll set it again according to ourselves. So now if you'll say see that all these items that were appearing in columns before, now they are basically you displayed in a single row. So we have achieved some part of our plan which we wanted to have, right? So some part is done. Now let us go for some more. So now the next thing is that we want one sort of a logo of Udemy. Let's take it from the web itself right now, right? So suppose let's come here and we will say that we want this particular image only. So copy image address, and we are saying that we want to put this inside the source folder, right? And inside this source folder we will say, let's give some width to it, and suppose 100 pixel width is sufficient, so 100 pixel width we want to give it, right? So this is how it is appearing at the moment. All right, afterwards we are seeing that explore is there, plans and pricing is there, but you can see that there is some sort of height that is associated with this header. So let's give some height to the header as well. So we are saying that first thing comes first, which is see, you have to give some equal kind of a space to all the elements. So let's do that, which is justify content, right? And let's justify it in a way that all of these element will have equal kind of a space. So space around let's use, and this will give us a good look, and then align items to the center, right? And let's give some height now so that all the items can be aligned towards the center. So align items, sorry, align items we have already done. Now we have to give some height to the this particular item. So 10 vh height we are giving. So now if you see the document, so it is appearing in this way. I think 10 VH is a little bit more than expected. So let's give 8 VH of the height. And also let's give some sort of box shadows so that we can understand that how much height we have given to it. So let's give some sort of height to it as, sorry, box shadow as well. So box shadow is equals to 0 pixel, 0 pixel, 10 pixel and gray. So a very light box shadow we have given to the header. Now, if you'll see, then this is how our header is looking at the moment. Now, obviously, there is by default, you know, margin comes with the code, so that we can remove perfectly. So we can say that to the body, that is body tag, that you are not required to take any sort of margin initially, right? So we are saying that body should not have any initial margin. So that's what we are doing right here. Then we can go for the next items, which is plans and pricing, Udemy business. If you will notice, then the color is not exactly black. So we will say that header container items should not have the font color set to black, rather than they should have a color gray, right? So it is gray is in fact a little too light. We can make it a bit, bit black, like a little bit more black. So now it is not perfectly absolute black or something. It is like having a small grayish tone to it, right? So now we want to work with this search for anything option, right? If you will see here, then this search for anything is actually having two things. If you will notice that, first of all, this is quite big. So first thing is that, let's do that. So we are saying that within the header container, we are having an input box, right? And we want to style this input box. How do we want to style it? So first of all, we want to give some padding to it. So uh, let's give a padding of 10 pixels towards top and down, that is top and bottom. And let's give a padding of 20 pixels towards left and right, right? Or otherwise just 10 pixel is enough, right? And after giving the padding, we want to do one more thing, which is we want to give some width to this input box as well. So we are saying that the width that this input box should have should be like 200 pixel or something. So now your input box will be bigger than what it was before, right? So it is bigger than that right now. Right. Now one more thing is that we don't require any sort of border here, right? So one thing that we have to see here is that you can notice this, that it is not taking anything after this place, right? Everything is within this frame. So something like that only we want to do. So what we are going to do is we are going to say that within this input box, because we have wrapped this input box also inside a div, so we want to name this div as some class name we want to associate with it, because we want to design this particular div. So this is your input container of header. So input, header container input div, header, header container input, right? So it is header input, and this is a good name. So we can go with it. And now we want to say that how do we want to, give this container the styling. So we want to like give some border first of all. So border is equals to 1 pixel solid and gray, right? Because it is not exactly the black tone which is being followed here, right now it is having some content, so that's why it is blue, but you can see that it is grayish in tone, right? Another thing is this is fine, and some border radius also we have to associate. So border radius will make the edges very smooth. So we are saying that 10 pixels of, or otherwise 50% we can give. So 50% of the border radius you want to give to our edges. So this time you will notice that it is there, but obviously we cannot see it. So now what we have to do is we have to say that make it, give it some padding as well. So padding equals to some 10 pixels for padding at each of its side we want to give, and 50% is making it a complete circle, so 10 pixels is enough. and we will keep on changing it accordingly. So right now it is coming in this way, and I think that some mistake has been done. Okay, yes. So this is how it is appearing. And one more thing that we want to do here is we want to say that whatever border we have given to the input box, we don't want to give any border, right? So we want to just, delete the border that we have given, and that's it. So now we can one more thing that I'll be doing is that 0 pixel of padding in the top or bottom direction, and we have to increase this border a little bit more because it is very circular in the actual page, right? So we also want to make something like that. So now it is looking fine, right? Apart from that, if you will notice, then plans and pricing, Udemy business, tech on Udemy card, these all things also have some sort of a space here. So we will also do something of that sort. We are saying that uh, let's go to the UL portion, and in this portion we will say that give some gap to all of the elements here. So let us say that give some gap of 10 pixels. Now if you can notice, then all of these elements now are having 10 pixels of gap in between. So now you can identify each of the elements, right? So that's the beauty of it, right? And apart from it, one more thing that we have to do is we have to style our buttons as well. So buttons, how do we have to style in this way? All right, let's do it. So first of all, let's start with button, which is let's give these buttons a class name, right? So class name of these buttons are header button, right? And the same class name we will associate with sign up also. So these two buttons are having same class name because they are almost similar. It is just about that which particular button is active. That I think that upon that we will change the color, right? So header button, and how do we want to style this header button? So we are saying that okay, we have to give some padding, so 10 pixel in the top and bottom direction and 20 pixels maybe in left and right direction. So now they're bigger than before. Then we have to choose some background color as well. So we are saying that some sort of blue color was there, right? Some blue violet color was there. So that color we have to give. Then some border radius also we have to associate with them. So we are saying that almost 10 pixels of border we want to give, right? And then there must be some other things as well. For example, the text is shown in white. So we will associate some font weight, right? So we're saying font weight equals to 900. So it will make them a little bit bold. And the color that we want to give them is white, right? So white color. And then border we don't want to give them as of now because I think the border was not there. Let me check once again. So in the blue color box there is no border, and in the white color box there is a border of blue color. So let's do that only. That we want to give a border of blue color, this blue violet color, right? So border of 1 pixel solid, and the color we want to choose is this blue violet, right? So blue violet color we are choosing. So this is how it is looking as of now. And then we will say that okay, apart from this, uh, we also want to say that one more class we want to associate with it, which is active class. And how do we want to uh, make the active class work? So we are saying that if the class is active, then the background color now should change to white, right? So background color, which was before blue violet, now we want to change it to white, right? And the text we want to change to, that is the font color we want to change to blue violet, of course, right? So blue violet color for this, and that is it. So this is how we want to design it, right? And there is some hovering effect as well. So when you hover onto it, some grayish tone is coming. So that also you can give. So we are saying that if you are hovering onto this active button, right? If you are hovering onto this button, then what should happen? So if you are hovering, right, if you're hovering onto this button, then the background color should change and it should become a little bit kind of a gray it was, right? So background color should become grayish, right? So it is very much gray. So we have to choose a very light gray color. So we will choose something of this sort, which will just give a very fine look here. So now it is looking a bit fine, right? Than before. So it is looking fine up till here. So are you guys with me? Are we good until this point, guys? It is something like Udemy only that we have created, isn't it? You can write in the comment section, right? Apart from it, now the next thing that we have to say is this particular icon, right? So either you can use the icons from any of the libraries. For example, hero icons are there, so you have to import the library. You have to take the link of the CDN or something like that. But for now, because we have to develop it fast in a faster way, so we will just choose it from some image only, right? So I'm going to take the image of the language image we want to take, and the icon for the language we want to take. So something of this sort we want, right? So it will show us this kind of icon. So it is quite a big image for being an icon. So that's why we have to choose it from some sort of library only, which we will do afterwards. So right now we are just going to take this and we want to paste it in this language section. So let's go to this index.html, and instead of this language, we're going to say that, okay, you are going to keep a image only, right? Rather than having a text, you're going to have image as your interior content, right? So here I'm going to paste the link, and that's it. So the image has appeared, and because right now it is having the actual width, so that's why we have to reduce it a bit. So we are saying that 50 pixels is enough, and in fact it is more. So let's make it to 20 pixels, and it is looking fine now, right? So this is fine. And apart from it, we also have to give it a style in which we are saying that margin should be auto, right? Margin should be auto, right? And one more thing that we can adjust here is, instead of margin, let us give it a style display type of flex, and let us justify it to center and align it to center as well. So it will give it, it will, it will bring it to the center. So it has done that. All right. Apart from that, this is fine, and apart from it, image is done, but it is coming in the downward direction, which we don't need. So all right, so we will give some margin, some padding. Top 10 pixels padding in the top. 10 pixels is a little bit more, so 8 pixels, 5 pixels. Now it is looking fine. All right. And apart from it, one more thing that we have to do is align self to center, right? Align self to center and justify self also to center, right? These two things are not working on it, so we will just simply give it a margin. So margin top and 10 pixels we are giving, right? So why is it moving with this? Because it is in this particular section. All right, so let's use a very simple technique instead. We will say that all these items should be displayed together. So style and display flex, right? And now they are coming together, all of these items. And apart from it, we also want to say that have a little bit of gap as well. So of 10 pixels is like enough. So now it is fine. And one more thing, that the button should have some sort of border, radius, right? Because it was not having that header button, that's why it is not showing the border radius. But because we have to give it a border radius, so we will give it here directly in the style tag. So we are saying that 10 pixels of the border you should also have, and then border is equals to none. That is, the border is 0 pixels, right? So something like this is appearing here, right? So I think that it is not exactly the same, but it is something like that only. And obviously you can change the kind of border it is having as well. So if you want, then you can give 1 pixel border. So 1 pixel solid and gray. So maybe it will look nice, yeah. So now it is good. So we are almost done with the front header part, right? Now let us move on to the next portion, right? So the next portion which is there is of this carousel, right? So let's make up this carousel. So one image is required. So let's just copy image address and let's come to the second section, and it is almost covering the half of the length. We have to just keep in our mind that okay, this is how it is done, right? So this is basically the hero section, and hero section also makes up the part of your header only. So we'll just create another div which will be here, but because header has already been given a lots of styling, so we'll create a different article for that. So let's start with the main body, right? And in the main we are going to have this article, or this particular section which is hero section. So, and we'll give some class name to it as well. So this is your hero container, right? And this time we are approaching the second part of the thing, in which there is one image coming, right? And the image source we are going to put, we have copied the source. So this is the image source, and we want to see that how it is looking. So it is looking exactly the same. And then there is one thing which is this particular box, right? So right now if you'll see, then it is almost looking the same, right? Now we want to paste this particular box on top of this image. So how do we do that? Inside the same section, I'm going to create this div, right? And this div is going to have, so I'm going to just shift it a bit so that I can see it, that what is written inside this particular section, right? So let's copy paste whatever the content is, and let's shift it a bit. All right. So inside this div, first of all, obviously we have to give some sort of heading, which is coming, which is H2, because it is not the primary heading. So it is some heading. So inside, we are not keeping it in H1, rather than we are keeping it inside H2. So skills that drive you forward. And then there is some paragraph that is the description about this. So let's use this description also. And we are keeping this description inside the P tag. And then there is a button which is view plans. So this button is there which is having view plans, and yes, that's it. So let's now decorate this a bit, and we will now see our result over here, right? So let's start with it. So what we are going to do here is we are going to name this div first of all something. So we are saying that what is this div called as? So this div is called as hero container div, right? So hero container and div. So this is how we are naming it, right? Hero container div, and let's style it a bit. So the style that we want to give it is, so here we will write hero container, right? And hero container div, how it is styled. So it is white in color in the background. So first of all, let us give it a background color of white, right? So background color equals to white, right? Afterwards, we are saying that the width that you need to have is very small, which is 20 VW. So not more than that, 20 VW is like enough, right? Afterwards, we are saying that the display type of your content should be flex, and the direction of this flex items, so flex direction should be column. Right, afterwards, this is almost done, and then we want to also give some border to these elements, so border of 1 pixel, solid and black. And obviously I think that there was no such thing as border radius here. It was like having very sharp edges, so we are going to keep it very sharp here, right? And apart from it, so we are done with header button. We are not given the right class name to it, right? So let's give it the correct name. Header container div is the name. So that's why it is not showing the changes also, right? So this is how it is looking. So instead of 20, let's make it 40. Now it is fine. And but when it will be big now, at that time it will cause us problem. So let us see that how it is looking when it is big. So when it is big, then it is taking around, all right. So it is taking around 200, 300 pixels of width. So we will also give it something of that sort only, right? So we are saying that 200 pixels is like more than enough. So you take only that much of the width for now. Okay, so how big is it? 200 pixels is quite small. So let's make it 400 pixels. All right, this is like good. And then afterwards, we have to say that, okay, you have to take a very fixed position. So let's make it position as absolute, right? The position should be absolute, and from top, how much distance it should have. So we are saying that almost like 400 pixels of the distance you should have from top. So 400 is quite big, so 200 pixels might be enough, right? And we are good to go. And then we don't want to give some sort of border, I guess. So this is going fine, right? And apart from it, text align to center, text align to center, right? And then the button which is inside this hero container, how should it look? So we are saying that the button which is inside this container should have blue violet color. So the background color it should have is blue violet, right? And then some sort of padding should be there. So padding is equals to 10 pixels in all the directions. And then the color of this should be white. And also we want to give some sort of font weight. So font weight is equals to 900, that is the maximum font weight. And if you want to increase the font size also, so font size is equals to 30 pixels. 30 pixels is quite very large. 20 pixels is also large. So 14 pixels and 15 pixels. I think 15 pixels is quite good. Let us see here. So yeah, it is almost like the same. And then some sort of margin we want to have in the button. So let's do that as well. So we're saying that the margin, the width of the button should be almost 90% of the box, not exactly 100%. And then we have to you know, align it towards the center. So we are saying that text align center is okay, but also justify, sorry, align items to center, right? Align items to center, and then remove the border as well. So border is equals to none. This is something that we are doing on the button. So now it is looking something of this sort, and there is some small border radius also there. So let's give some small border radius. So border radius of 5 pixel, right? This is enough. And then we have to increase the size of this heading. So we are saying that there is a h2 tag inside this hero container div. So increase the size to 2m, right? So font equals to 2m, and it's not changing. All right. because we have not written font size, that's why. So 2M, it is quite big. So let's make it 1.5M, a little bigger. I think this is okay. This is good to go with, right? And also one more thing that we can do is we can, change the color because it is quite grayish tone. So let's change the color also. So we are saying now that the color should be gray. And here we will take a darker gray. So color should be gray, but not this gray, rather a darker gray tone we want to have, but not exactly black, right? So something like this we want, absolutely fine. And apart from it, we also want that there should be some sort of margin from the left hand side as well, so that we can directly give to the hero container depth. So we are saying that please take some margin from both the sides. So we are going to change the width of the container, and not of the hero container but of the main body, because I think where the complete main body is contained within the 80% of the screen. So you can see that on the left and right side, that there is always a gap maintained. So we will say that the main container which is there, so main container, we will give some name to the main container. So we are saying that this main container is going to have a name which is main container, and it is going to have some sort of gap, right? So we will provide it just before the hero container. We are saying that this is all about your main container. And what do you want to do in the main container? So you want to have a display property of flex, and then you want to say that we want to make the width to be 80%, right, of the screen, and then justify the content to center. So what will happen is the 10% of the gap will come in the left and right hand side direction that we require, right? So right now it is not coming in one direction. It is coming in one direction. We want it in both the directions, right? So we will display the flex, justify content to center, which is absolutely correct. This is your section number one, and main container is the name. So everything is going fine. Display type flex, width is 80%, and justify content to center. Everything is correct actually. All right, if it is not taking justify, then we will give some auto margin to it. I think there is some sort of margin we have given, uh, which is causing this kind of problem. Maybe we have given somewhere some margin. Okay, let's inspect it, that what is causing this large amount of margin here. Width equals to 80%, and okay. So we are going to say that all right. So we are going to say that there is an image inside this hero container, and we will fit it to the, so we will say that the hero container image is there, and object fit, and we will say that, always you have to contain, you don't have to go here and there, you have to always contain the image. So this will, I guess, rectify our problem a bit. hero container image and width equals to 100%. Right. So now, even if this basically we will make this a screen smaller, so the image will automatically change its size. So that's what we have done at this particular moment, right? And apart from it, this is how it is looking. So you can change the top, left, right, bottom with the help of that. You can change the orientation and the direction and the length and height of this, right? So let's do that as well. So we are saying that okay, the hero container div which is there na, we want to basically from the top hand side, rather than having 200, we want to say that 180 pixels should be from the top distance, and from the left also we want to shift it a little bit. So we are saying that 150 pixels from the left hand side we want to make, right? So we are hard coding it, and it is right now here, and I think it has to come a little bit more in middle section. So let's make it 250 pixels. So now it is in a right direction, right? And let's make this skill wala section also a little bit bigger. So font size 2 was okay, right? 2 was okay. Neither was it too big nor was it too small. So skills that drive you towards, and then the technology vagera vagera is written, right? So something like this. And it is a little bit darker, and ours one is little bit lighter, right? But that we can change very quickly. So we are saying that okay, just make it even more darker. And in the same way, this gray tone also that we have given to the paragraph, we want to make it a little bit darker. So that's done. Yeah. And if you want to make the text even bigger, then you can make it as 2.5 m. That would be a great choice. I think a little bit bigger. All right, so this is fine. And almost we are done with it, right? So we have to just push our this particular container a little bit towards the upward direction, and we will say that rather than having top distance as 180, let's have only 100 as the distance. So now it is absolutely, I think, the similar way it is looking, right? So and view plans is very small now. So our ours one is a little bit bigger. So this button, and we will change the width. Before this we were writing that the width should be 90%, but because it is a smaller one, so we will also make it a smaller one. And then text align, because it is towards the left hand side, so we will also align our text towards the left hand side. So here it was somewhere, text aligns towards center, we will make it to left hand side. Right, so now our text is towards the left, and also we will say that the button should also come towards the left. So here we will say that margin towards left should be only 10%, right? Margin towards left should be, now we have to get it in negative also. So let's not do that. We will use something different, which is align self towards flex start. Right. Now we have to give some padding also, because it is sticking towards the one end which we don't want. So we will say that a hero container should have a little bit of padding in the left hand side. So padding towards left hand side we want from it. And in fact, in each of the direction we can give that 0 pixels towards bottom and top, whereas 20 pixels towards left and right we want to give, right? Now if you will see the output, it should have given some sort of padding, but it is not doing it. Have we given the right container? Yes, we have chosen the right container, but we have not chosen the right property. Right, so now it is coming in this way, which is, I think, as expected, almost done with this box. And the last thing that we have to do is we have to say that the hero container is having a p tag, right? So in that, we just don't want to have any margin towards top, because it is having a little bit too much of margin in the topmost direction. So that we want to reduce a little bit. Okay? So we are saying that margin towards top is something like minus 20 pixels, because we want to move it towards the upward direction. So now it is looking absolutely okay. Baki, you can change the color even further if you people wish to, right? Now the next thing is, after all the skills you need in one place, and this kind of text is appearing, but apart from that, we have to also design one more navigation, and then afterward there are certain buttons, and then these these items are appearing. So now we have to design this particular course card. So let's design this course card, right? So you people will like to design this one because it is quite interesting. So before designing the navigation, we have to design the course card. So this is another section, right? And in this section, we're going to design our first article, right? And this article is basically, so let's give it a class, which is course container, right? Course product container, we can name it as course product container, right? And how do we design it? So what are different attributes that are there? So in this article, there is one image, right? The image of the course, which basically specifies that what is it all about. So let's copy the image if we would be able to. Let's inspect and let's find out. All right, so let's have some other image. Let's not take it because it is going to take some time. So I'm going to take some Udemy course, and I know that I'm any which way is going to get some good images from here. So for example, this image I can take. So this is quite a big image. I'll just choose this thumbnail image, that is fine for us, or otherwise this one is quite good, so let's take it. So we have chosen this, and then we have to give some source, and inside the source I'm giving the link, and afterwards we have to see to it. So it is coming in a very big size, so we have to reduce the size. We'll do that, but before that, let's see to it that what this specific card is telling us. So each of these product card is telling us about the name of the course, then who is the creator of the course, then how much rating has it been given, then how many people have bought this course, what is the cost of it, and is it a premium course, is it a bestseller course. So what are the different tags that we can associate with it. So this is all about a particular product card. Let's design it now. So we are first of all saying that, okay, so one part of the image, one part of the container is going to have an image, and then other part of the container is going to have the description. For example, in H3 we are going to contain the name of the course. So suppose this is the name. It is not allowing us to copy anything. From here we can. All right. So this is the heading of the course. Then suppose this is the name, Julian. It will not allow that as well, I guess. All right. So this we can copy. Now you people will think that what is this? Why do we need the same name? Because it looks good on the course when we have these kind of names. These are good courses that have been created, so they should get their dues, right? So but first of all we have to all right, so we could have taken it from there also, na? So what is the name of the people who have created it? It is They'll not allow from here also. Good. So we will have some ABC people. So these are the names of our teachers. Teachers or the instructors of the course, right? Instructors. Then the next thing that comes is, after having it, we have another thing, which is the number of stars. So the rating is there. So in this particular div, we are going to contain the rating. After the rating, we come with the pricing. So in the H3 only, I'm going to give the pricing, for example, something like that. And if you want to use the rupee tag or the dollar symbol, then you can use the codes directly from the hexadecimal codes or something like that. From any of the website you can copy, right? The special symbols that are there, and then these two tags are there, that are premium and bestseller. So we are just going to give a premium tag for now, right? So all of these things always comes in dynamic form, right? We don't create all of these things by ourselves, right? We always use JS for doing all of these things, like dynamic in nature these things are. But right now I'm going to have this in hard coded version. So bestseller is there. So this is our bestseller, and if you will see that how is it looking now, so it will be looking very simple, but we will make it to look just like Udemy, right? Because Udemy is following very simple style. So that's why it is quite easy to copy the stylings that has been followed there. So sometimes simple styles are also good because it lets your user to connect with you easily. So these kind of websites which are having a lot of information of their own, they tend to have minimal of the looks, in the perspective that any sort of animation or something, they don't have that much of it, just because of this reason, because they have a very good content which should speak for itself. So now let us see that how these cards are going to look here. So first of all, I'm going to degrade the size of the image, and for that I'm going to go inside this course product container. And where is the CSS file? So let's go to the CSS file of ours. So style.css file is there, and inside this CSS file we will say that we are designing products right now, right? And in this container we are going to say that, all right, so first of all, the image should be decreased, the size of the image should be decreased. So let's do that first. We are saying that the width of this image should be 100% of the container, right? So first thing is this. And then what should be the size of the container? So we are saying that the width of the container should be almost like 30 VW, which is enough, right? And I think it will come here somewhere, right? 30 VW is little too much. So 300 pixels, let's see. Still no change. Let's refresh it. All right. So width should be 100. Acha, width of the image should be 100% of the container. Right. Now it is going in the right direction. All right. So apart from it, what are the different things that are there? So apart from it, we have, why is it appearing in this particular portion? Okay, I think that we have designed the main in flex. We have given the row direction to the main container. So we have to change that to column first of all. So we are going to say that the direction of this flex should be direction, flex direction should be column. And also, because now we have changed the direction, so we will simply say that justify the content to center also and align also the items to center only, so that we will not have much of the things to think about, right? So we have just given those two things there, and now it is looking fine. And just like this, we can have multiple items. So let's do that as well. So we are saying that here we are going to have multiple articles of this type, right? So two article, three article, four articles. Just like that, we are going to have multiple articles, and all these articles should also be like captured within a section. So a section which is displaying the courses. So this section is going to be named as a course container, suppose. So let's name this class as course container. And these course containers, what it is going to look like is it is going to be like a flex. So here I'm going to say that the course container itself is having a display type of flex with a equal gap of like equal gap it should have. So we're going to just say that justify the content with the space around or something like that. So space around or space evenly you can use. So right, and apart from it, if you want to give some gap also, so you can do that. So around 20 pixels gap also we need. And one more thing that I want to fix here is that if the items are not coming and aligning together beautifully, then flex wrap option also we have to open up, right? That is, it can go in the next line. We don't want to stop it, right? So it is now looking good. That is three items are coming, and if you want that the four items should come, then instead of space around, we should use a space between, because we don't want a space in the starting or the ending. And I think it will fit nicely now. Okay, it is taking only three items, so we are not going to use any gap for now. We are going to just decrease the size as of now. So 250 pixels, and justify content, space between is right, and then gap also we can give of 100 pixels gap. 100 is a bit more, so let's make it to 80 pixels. Let's see, 80 also not working properly. Then let's go for 50. 50, so we can give a little bit more. So let's see if 60 is going to work for us. Even further we can go, so 65 let's give. 65 is good enough. So this is how the items are aligned, and then you can go for basically giving the good you know font font size and all these things. You can make them look good. So let's go for that this time. So first thing is that we have to wrap it inside a course container. All these products should be wrapped inside a border. So border is equals to 1 pixel solid and gray, and then there should be some sort of border radius as well. So border radius of 10 pixels. Then the color of the text that is appearing inside is very light, so gray color, right? And then after the image should have almost like about the 50% of the height of the box, but let's not take that into consideration. Rather, we are going to say that the teacher and instructor, that is this particular teacher and this instructor, should have a class name which is teacher, right? Suppose the class name is teacher, so we can give a styling to this particular name in a different way. All right. And then this teacher should be having some sort of a styling, that is in terms of the color should be grayish, and then the font size should be the font size should be very small, so around 12 pixels, and the font weight of this should be of about 200 size, right? So now if you'll see the teacher, this particular thing that we are designing right now, so it is coming very in a very smaller text, so we have to make it a little bit bigger. So let's make it like 16 pixels. And apart from it, teacher is in gray color, but other product other items are like black in color, so we can change this type to black, right? So this is how it is appearing. And other than that, we are also having like this premium button also is designed other way, and then 3900 is just in the similar way as the heading. So these two things can go together, like they can look in the same similar fashion. So what we are doing in our case as well. And then there is some sort of padding also given. So let's give some padding to this, you know, this div which is containing all these description. So let's give some class to it as well, which is description of product, right? So this is description of the product. Description of the product and description of the product. So now how do we want to set this description? So we want to say that the description should have a equal padding, right, in left and right direction, and obviously in a little bit in top and bottom also. So 10 pixel in top, bottom, and 20 pixels in left and right side. So this is how we have designed the description. Now let us see if it is okay. So it is almost okay, right? But I think in top we have given a little bit more padding. So instead of giving 10 pixels, we are going to give it like 5 pixels of the padding in top direction and 10 pixels in left and right direction. So, and also I think that we have to give it a little bit more width, because here the items are having more width. So let's change the width of these containers also, and let's make it to 300 pixels maybe. Yeah, 300 pixels is going good. And then obviously we have to reduce some gap size. So this gap size we will reduce to 20 pixels only, or maybe even less than that. So 10 pixels. Okay, let's make it 280. I think that this is okay. And yes, this is almost okay. And the image should also have a border radius in top and top left and top right direction. So we are saying that in the top left and top right direction, you should have 10 pixels and 10 pixels, and then 0 pixels and 0 pixels towards the downside. So something like this we have done. So I think that we are almost done with it. The star part is remaining, but we will do that afterwards. So now the bestseller part is remaining, right? So bestseller is looking in this way. So let's design it. So I think that the padding in the downwards direction, we have to give it a little bit more padding. So now we will say that padding in bottom should be almost equals to 10 pixels, first thing. And the second thing is that within the product description, this product description, you are going to have a button, and you want to have a very specific design to that. So let's do that here. That product description has a button. And how is it designed? So basically it is going to have a background color which is blue violet colored, right? I think that it is blue violet in color. Yeah. And white color text is there, so that also we can set. That is font color is equals to white, and obviously you have to associate some weight also. So font weight is equals to almost 700 pixels. That would be good. So this is the real one, and this is our bestseller. So not exactly the same color, we have not chosen the same one, but it's okay. We are good to go with it as well. So now we will just remove the border. So we'll say that we don't want border as such right now, but obviously we need some sort of border radius, and maybe a 5 pixel would be enough, right? And I think that there is a little bit of padding also we require. This will make our button to look good. So button, sorry, we will call it as padding. So in the top and bottom direction, we want of padding of around 2 pixels, whereas 4 pixels in left and right direction. So a little bit more in left and right, and in the top direction, we need a little bit less. So, and also we'll decrease the font size a bit. So font size, you want to keep it as 12 pixels. It is 12 pixels already. So let's make it 10 pixels, right? And even smaller. So 8 pixels, 8 pixels, 10 pixels would be good. A little bit more padding would do good. So uh, 6 pixels of padding in top and left, and 10 pixels in right and top, bottom, and right and left. All right, so this is okay. This is good to go with. And apart from that, then we have we have these buttons as well. So let's now design these buttons. So this is a different section, right? This chat GPT, then data science. So we have to design this also. Let's go for it this time. So these all things are going to come before this particular section. So this is a different section wherein we are containing all sort of course container, it is all sort of product items are there. This is another section, and in between there comes a different section which is just going to work as a navigation for us. So this is another section, and inside this section we have different UL, that is different items are there which are equal, which are basically just like each other, and there are suppose a lot of different options. And how is this one option looking? So we are saying that suppose data science is written, and one more thing was written in beneath it, which is how many learners of that particular domain are there. So that also let's mention. So we are saying that there is a span element, right? And it is basically showing that how many millions of learners are there, right? So this is a different span, and this another span is different, right? So we basically have two spans for this. And what is it? So it is just a navigation, right? So let's name it as class as navigation, course navigation container, course navigation container, course category navigation, we can say course category navigation container. And how do we want to style it? So let's come here. So we want to style it in the way that, first of all, we want to say that the list style should be none, right? Then we want to say that there should not be any sort of initial margin to it. Afterwards, we are going to say that obviously it is going to have some sort of padding, right? And what padding is it going to have? So padding of around 20 pixels in top and bottom, and 30 pixels No, it is quite big, right? So 15 pixels in top and bottom, and 25 pixels in left and right, right? And then what is the font size that we have to carry? So I'm saying that let's take a font size of 24 pixels, and for 24 pixels for the span 1, right? So let's give it a class name also. So class, right? Or otherwise we also have nth child property, so we can use that also, right? So यहाँ पे let's give it a class name as first child, and this is the second child, right? So now we are saying that 24 pixels font should be given to the first child, and the second child should have a little less. So this is the font that we have to give to the first child, that is font size of 24 pixels, whereas the second child is going to have almost around 14 pixels or 16 pixels. That's enough for it. So this is about the second child. Right, let us see that how it is looking right now. So this is how it is appearing. It is not having any sort of a style right now. Apart from that, we also want to give one more thing, which is I think that we must have given some wrong spelling. C is small. Otherwise, they will take the size. Yeah, now it is good. So I think we are almost equal in size to it. All right. Other thing is that we also want to display these things in the way that they should be coming one after other in a column. So let's give it one more style, which is this course should be, this course is going to have li, that is list items, and these list items are going to display their content in flex style display, and the direction of this should be flex direction should be column, right? And apart from it, what else do we want to give here? So other thing that we want to set here is that align items to center, whereas justify items also to the center. So we want to like centralize it in horizontal and vertical both the axes. So now it is okay, and also we want to give some sort of border. So border equals to 1 pixel, solid and gray, and also some border radius. So 20 pixels of border radius, and not to this, rather to the list item, right? So now if you see, then it is looking in this way, which is obviously nice, right? And some padding we can give in order to make it even nicer. So padding, actually this padding which we have taken was for this purpose only. So I had this thing only in my mind set at that time, right? So a little bit less padding in the top and bottom direction. Now it is good. And also we want that this course category in itself should also have some sort of margin from the other items, or some internal padding will also do good. So only in top and bottom direction we want right now. So we are saying that 20 pixels in top and bottom, and 20 pixels in left and right also. So it is coming here. It is now looking okay and decent also. You can also give some sort of color. So let's give some background color, some very light color. So let's choose a very lighter version of gray. All right, this is good. I think even a lighter than this also will work. So, all right, this is good. And then border radius, we can increase it a bit. Yeah, now it is okay. And other than this, we can also reduce the size a little bit. All right. The color of the second child should change. So color is gray. All right. And I think that's it. Now we can just repeat these elements. Right now you can see all these elements are appearing here, but obviously we want them to be aligned or stacked in a row. So we'll just simply change the type and we'll say that UL, the direction in which UL is aligning the content should be in a row. So display you have to set to flex. As soon as you set the display to flex, your items will appear in a single row, right? And then you have to cut down some sort of li items as well, because yeah, this is good. And then we can give some gap. So we will say that justify the content and give some space between. So let's fix the gap. Now we are saying that okay, let's give some gap to these elements of 30 pixels each. Right, so this is how it is appearing, and you can add more elements also. So if you will take one more element, I think that the size will become okay. It will just look like how it is looking in the Udemy website, right? I think the border is not there, so border you can remove in order for it to make, in order for it to look like just similar way how it is looking in the Udemy website. So now it is good, right? And one of these items you can set to gray, like the active element. So you can say that course item and active class. Inside the course item, whatever the active class is there. So suppose we are setting the active class to be this one, right? So we are saying this is the active class. So how do we want to display this active class? The active class should have a background color set to gray. This is what we want to do. So right now it is appearing in this way, right? And other than this, I think that the active class will have white color also. So let's set the color also to white. That is the minimal change that you have to do in the active class. So white, and that's it, right? And I think this we haven't set to white, so that's why it is happening. Let's do that as well, which is that active class should appear just after all the styles have been given. Right, so we have set the active class as gray in gray color. So let's refresh it and let's check it once again. So we are saying that this also and this also and this also should have gray color. Let us see. So now this is our active class, right? And this is how it is appearing. So I think that it is making sense to everybody, right? That how it is happening here, right? So this was just about this one, and in the hovering phase also, it is saying that when you hover, you have to like have some different grayish tone to it. So let's set that as well. So we are saying that whenever somebody would hover these containers, these list items, so at that particular moment, what should happen is that whenever a person would hover these elements, then the background color should change, right? That's what we want to do. And we want to set a very different texture there. I think this will be good, and that's it. So only a slight color shade is given, no other color is changing. So that's what we are also doing, that it's just one thing that we need to do. That is this particular color should be very light, and in fact it should be blue in tone, so it will give a different kind of a. So now you can see that on hovering a different shade is appearing, but it is not changing the. Okay, it is not looking good here. So what we can do is that we can make a hovering action for active differently, which is that if you are hovering the active class, then nothing should change, right? So now nothing is changing. So if you're hovering a active class, then nothing will change. Otherwise, if you're hovering a different uh, item, then a little bit change will appear. So I hope that this is looking good right now. है ना? We have to make it a little bit darker. Right now it is like not even fluctuating much. So yeah, now it is good, right? It is good to go. Other than that, we also have this particular place wherein we have these options. Okay, so it is quite simple. So we'll go with that as well afterwards, right? Then again, these cards are there. You can see that these cards are appearing. And one more thing that is there is that as soon as I hover on these pictures, then these images are these descriptions are appearing, right? So we have to work on that part now, right? But we'll do that tomorrow, because for today we have done a lot of stuff. So I'll upload it onto the GitHub so that you can access this one. And I'm going to give the link also just now, so wait for 1 minute. Just get the link also. So GitHub account, and we are working on Udemy website. So because otherwise you will lose the track of it, that where are we keeping the things. So that's why I'm going to give it right away. So this is our Udemy clone that we are making, right? And clone of Udemy in HTML, CSS, JavaScript, the very basic technologies we are choosing here. That's the fun part, that we are not using any fast track library as of now. And then do we want to create a new file? Yes, we want to upload two files basically. The first one is your index.html. So we'll take the code directly from here. We have just worked on two files. That's the beauty of this. We have not taken any extravagant library or something, right? So this is our index.html file. And the other file that we are going to have is your style.css, which we have attached to this index.html. So style.css file is there. Now guys, it is your turn to tell me, right, in the comment section, whether you want to have a next part of this particular tutorial of Udemy or not. So if you think that this is something that has helped you, and a complete clone will definitely help you and you can understand these things, then obviously you have to comment that, and then we'll come up with the next part also. And if you think that maybe it is not working out for you, then also it is okay, right? So there is no problem at all. But right now what you have to do is you have to take up this link from the chat box. So this is it for today, and what we are going to do is, first of all, you're going to tell me whether or not you want a second part, and accordingly we will plan the next part of this, right? So I hope that this session has taught you something, and I'm hoping that we will be looking forward for the next session so that we can complete this complete website. So I just don't want to go very fast, because I want that everything should be well understood by each of us. So that's why the pace is maybe a little bit low, but whatever we develop, I want that you people should get it easily, right? So that's the main motive right now. You can just change the type of cursor here, and then it will be good to go. So you also try to work on it, and I'll also try to explain as much as possible. Chalo. ठीक है guys, so take care and very good night to everyone.